Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. If you prefer texting over calling, it's not about convenience, it's about control. And once you hear why, you might never look at your phone the same way again. Most people think preferring texts is just a habit, or a generation thing, or social awkwardness. But psychologists call this communication avoidance mixed with cognitive control. And once you understand it, you'll see why the way you communicate is quietly shaping your relationships, your confidence, and even your identity. This isn't random. Your brain is doing this on purpose. But here's where it gets even worse. The same reason you love texting might also be the reason certain conversations in your life never go deeper. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain prefers texting because it removes emotional risk, not because you're lazy, not because you're rude, not because you hate calls, but because calling forces real-time vulnerability, and your brain is wired to avoid that whenever possible. Your mind chooses comfort over growth every single time, unless you consciously override it.
But here's the part nobody wants to admit. Texting doesn't just change how you communicate, it changes who you become over time. Let's break this down simply. When you text, your brain gets 3 powerful advantages. 1. Time control. You can pause, edit, delete, rewrite. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning and self-monitoring, loves this. It gives you the illusion of perfection. On a call, that safety net disappears. 2. Emotional buffering. There's no tone, no silence, no instant reaction. This reduces activation in the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. In other words, texting feels safer because it literally triggers less emotional exposure. 3. Dopamine without vulnerability. Every reply, every notification, every typing bubble, small dopamine hits, minimal risk. Your brain thinks, why would I call when I can get reward without discomfort? Psychologists describe this as cognitive load management. Calls require you to listen, respond instantly, read emotion, regulate tone, think on the spot. That's a heavy mental load. Texting spreads that load over time. So if you prefer texting, it doesn't mean you're bad at communication. It means your brain is optimizing for mental efficiency. But efficiency comes with a cost. If that hits you, good. It means you needed it, because here's the truth you've been avoiding.
Over time, preferring texts subtly rewires where your confidence comes from. People who avoid calls often anchor their self-esteem to internal validation, feeling prepared, clear, and in control before expressing themselves. That sounds healthy, but here's the flip side. Real confidence isn't built in preparation, it's built in improvisation. Calls force you to exist without a script. And when your brain rarely practices that skill, it starts to believe, I'm only confident when I have time. That belief slowly shrinks your comfort zone. There's another term psychologists use here, avoidant emotional regulation. Your brain isn't calming emotions by processing them. It's calming them by avoiding situations that trigger them. Texting becomes a coping mechanism, not a flaw, not a weakness, just a strategy your nervous system learned. This goes way deeper than smartphones. Thousands of years ago, immediate verbal communication meant one thing: social risk. Say the wrong thing, you could lose status, safety, belonging. Our ancestors evolved to carefully manage speech under pressure. Modern calls recreate that same pressure, but without the tribe. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a dangerous social mistake in a village and an awkward pause on a phone call, so it chooses distance, delay, text. Let's talk chemicals. Cortisol rises during live calls, especially for sensitive or analytical thinkers. Dopamine spikes with message notifications. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, releases more strongly in voice, but only after initial discomfort. Your brain stops at the cortisol stage and says, "Nope, text instead." You never reach the oxytocin reward that calls can provide. And this next part explains why some of your relationships feel stuck. Texting is efficient, but efficiency is the enemy of intimacy. Tone builds trust. Silence builds meaning. Voice builds emotional memory. When conversations stay text-only, your brain categorizes them as low emotional investment. That's why conflicts linger, misunderstandings grow, emotional closeness plateaus. Not because you don't care, but because your brain never fully enters connection mode.
Here's the harsh psychology truth. If you always avoid calls, your brain learns that discomfort is dangerous instead of temporary. And that belief spreads from communication to confrontation to opportunities to self-expression. Most people don't realize this until years later. So what do? You don't force yourself to become a call person. You train your brain differently. Here's the mental trick that actually works. Use calls strategically, not emotionally. Start with short calls, purpose-based calls, low-stakes conversations. Let your nervous system experience, "I survived, I was fine." That's how you rewire the amygdala. If you prefer texting, it means you think before you speak. You value clarity. You process deeply. Those are strengths. But growth happens when comfort stops making decisions for you. Texting is a tool, not a shield. So remember this, it doesn't mean you're socially weak. It doesn't mean you're awkward. It doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means your brain learned to prioritize control over exposure. And now that you're aware of it, you get to choose. If this resonated with you, comment below. Do you prefer texting or calling, and why? Understanding your psychology is the first step to mastering it, and that's where real confidence begins.